Patriots, this is wild. People are saying that Jake Paul lost hundreds of millions of dollars on the fight that he was supposed to win. But that Anthony Joshua went against the tongue sign script and pounded him out. And what happened? Look at what happened. Anthony Joshua allegedly, kind of suspiciously, was involved in an accident that almost took his life. It took the life of 2 other people. So a lot of people are questioning what is going on.
Breaking news suddenly sent shockwaves across the internet. Reports began circulating that Jake Paul might be on the move, and everything escalated the moment his name was mentioned alongside Anthony Joshua. That single connection set social media on fire. Fans, critics, and online creators jumped in immediately, treating the situation like a real-time investigative series. People started asking non-stop questions about what might have happened privately, why the timing felt so intense, and whether fame, money, and the inner politics of boxing had finally collided to create chaos.
Created a perfect storm.
What's going on?
What's up, Floyd?
I can have what I want.
What you mean with the camera? Oh, you got camera too. So
who
you supposed to be? I'm just working, fam.
What happened? You're not tough anymore since your loss? What happened since your loss? Yo, we gonna bust him up, guys?
I told you before, put that
Yo, let's bust him up. Where you running, Jake? Where you going since your fight? Since you lost? What's up, Jake? Where you going, Jake?
What pushed this story from typical celebrity gossip into something far more explosive was the unexpected use of law enforcement language. Once federal agents and a celebrity mansion were spoken about in the same sentence, common sense took a back seat and imagination took over. At that point, Jake Paul became the center of a story where his silence felt heavier than any statement he could have released.
Confirmed that Jake Paul's home was being raided by the FBI. News station helicopters got footage and pictures of Jake Paul's house being
Oh, they taking his guns and stuff. So there's got to be something gun related. Like, damn. But that's a sticky situation right there.
Photos show the FBI SWAT team seizing guns, several guns. According to the local ABC station, the weapons included a long gun that was next to the hot tub in the backyard. This search is part of an ongoing investigation, and no arrests have been made.
Reports claiming the FBI searched Jake Paul's Calabasas property landed online, like the preview of a blockbuster movie. People imagined helicopters, tactical gear, sealed warrants, and dramatic visuals, even though no clear explanation was provided. That lack of details allowed the internet to fill in the blanks by connecting old news stories, past controversies, and lingering suspicions. The result was a narrative that felt believable simply because it was dramatic.
This is Jake Paul's house. Just got raided by the FBI. What could this guy be possibly into now?
Connect outside of YouTube. Twitter was buzzing with photos and videos of SWAT teams at Jake Paul's house yesterday. And no, they are not fake. The FBI and a SWAT team showed up at Jake Paul's house. The search warrant. The search began at 6 a.m. in connection with an ongoing investigation, according to FBI spokeswoman Laura I. Miller. Jake was not at home at the time. Unfortunately for T channels and everyone else that wants to know the scoop, the judge sealed the search warrant affidavit, so we don't actually know too much about why Jake Paul.
When officials declined to explain exactly what they were looking for, the online world reacted exactly as expected. Speculation became entertainment. Jake Paul is rarely viewed like a typical athlete. Instead, he is treated like an ongoing series, where every update is framed as the next shocking episode rather than a separate legal or logistical situation.
Any thoughts on AJ and the families?
Yeah, it's all prayers and blessings for Cena and Lots and Anthony, and I've kept them in my prayers. And it's such a tragic situation that we don't wish upon anybody, and I'm sending love to all of them and keeping them in our prayers, and I think everybody else should do the same. And we have so much love, and things are so much bigger than boxing and living life, and we're just all blessed to be here, and we all have to be grateful for that because you never know what's next.
This is where the discussion shifted from boxing updates into something closer to legend. Jake Paul's career already sits between competitive sport and entertainment branding. When old accusations resurfaced about controlled fights, protected outcomes, and brand-focused matchmaking, it reignited doubts that had quietly existed for years among skeptical fans. Those claims poured fuel on a fire that never fully went out.
Lose hundreds of millions of dollars. People do not take it too kindly, and I can see the Vegas odds. If they were saying, look, he wins, he always wins, it's going to happen in the 6th round. But no, Anthony Joshua said, not on my clock. I'm going to break his jaw in 2. 2, Johnny. Make it 2, Utah. Make it 2. What do you guys think about this? I don't know. Is this conspiracy theory? Is there some truth to it? I don't know. But it does seem pretty suspicious that it happened so soon.
This is also where the alleged fleeing story gained momentum. The Anthony Joshua connection intensified everything. Joshua represents the harsh reality of top-level heavyweight boxing, someone shaped by real danger and real consequences. When his name is placed next to Jake Paul's, the conversation changes. People stop talking about hype and start talking about physical limits, experience, and survival. That shift makes any unexpected result feel suspicious almost automatically.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference and, you know, Joshua is a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's current, he's active, you know, and this is going to be the first time that we see Paul, you know, fighting an active fighter. You know what I mean? We seen the Mike Tyson, that was all fun, that was cute, you know what I'm saying? It's fun and games and stuff, but now you're dealing with a real professional, you know, and so we'll see how it ends up in, you know, like I said, I think it's scripted.
At the same time, others pushed back and argued that capitalism does not require secret scripts to create chaos. Promotional power, perfect timing, and careful opponent selection can shape public perception without any written plan. Jake Paul's supporters pointed out that he trains seriously, steps into the ring willingly, and accepts real risk that most internet personalities would never take on.
Would have won, everyone would have known it was rigged. He couldn't win that fight. So he said, let me get to round 5. Let me get there, because if I can get there, then everyone can make money. And the second round 4 hit, Anthony was ready. It was so obvious. It's so gross to me that I participated in this because I wanted to see him get knocked out, and that's exactly what he knows to be true. Most people want to see him get knocked.
This is where the debate became more rigid because both sides were holding pieces of the truth. Jake Paul is clearly a trained fighter, and he is also clearly a calculated brand. Once the public decides that a boxer is a marketing product first, every punch, pause, and performance gets judged through that lens, whether it is fair or not.
People saying, congratulations to Jake Paul for being brave to step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. Not many people will want to step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. Let me tell you something. If someone paid me $80 million to fight Anthony Joshua, I'm stepping in there tomorrow, right? No training, no nothing. I'm leaving straight from work. I fly to Miami and I'll get my jaw broken for $80 million, no problem. And I'm sure there will be millions.
When the fight itself did not deliver the destruction some viewers were expecting, disappointment quickly turned into certainty. That certainty showed up as accusations of scripting, leaked plans, and alleged agreements. For many people, it felt easier to believe the outcome was rigged than to accept that reality can be awkward, uneven, and unsatisfying.
Get a load of money to knock Jake Paul's spark out. That's it, mate. I want to see him get chinned. I do. And if we're going to get paid a fortune for the pleasure, sign me up. That's it. That's it. You know, I mean, I'm kind of past the days of trying to spin it to you. Better off saying to the why are you doing this? For the money and for the giggles. That's really what it is. But I said to him, this ain't magic, mate. This guy could take your head off your shoulder.
The alleged fleeing narrative fed directly into those emotions. Events were framed like a drama unfolding online. Supposed leaks and predictions were treated as facts rather than coincidence or fan fiction. The logic became impossible to challenge. Any denial was labeled a cover-up. Any uncertainty was taken as proof. At that point, the story no longer needed evidence to survive. It only needed attention and repetition. This is how the alleged fleeing claim gained traction. Once enough people repeated it, the idea stopped being a question and turned into a storyline, with Jake Paul portrayed as someone choosing distance over confrontation after pressure supposedly increased following new reports linked to the Anthony Joshua situation.
Paul has some big-ass balls, bro. No diddy. You know, it's just like to go in there with one of the best heavyweights to ever do it. Anthony Joshua, Olympian. Was he a gold medalist? Yeah. Gold medalist. Wow.
2012.
That's what I'm saying. So, my respects to obviously Jake, because man, that took a lot, and he's robbing the bank, man. He's promoter. He's
The story went viral because it triggered everything at once: celebrity scandal, suspicion of sports fraud, and the irresistible image of a famous person trying to escape consequences. In reality, travel proves nothing, and movement is routine for someone operating at that level. The harsh truth for Jake Paul is that appearances now function as evidence in the court of public opinion. Staying looks like hiding. Leaving looks like running. Speaking looks like spinning. Once the internet decides the outcome ahead of time, every normal action gets reinterpreted as guilt.
Tune in, and guess what we got? Jake Paul getting knocked out. He also made a lot of fucking money, and we are all just consuming it. If you believe in astrology, you will know this to be true. I looked up his natal chart. It's mostly earth energy. Everything he's doing is a fucking act. It's an act. He doesn't act that way at home. I guarantee it. He is a Capricorn, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Libra, Mars, and a Taurus moon. There's no way he acts like that.
Fight-fixing accusations carry a much darker weight. The moment sports betting enters the discussion, the issue shifts from gossip to legal territory. Promoters respond aggressively, not just to defend Jake Paul, but to protect the credibility of a system that relies on fans believing competition still matters. This story works because it mixes confirmed reporting with rumor and challenges the audience to tell the difference. Jake Paul becomes a symbol of modern fame, where attention replaces trust, spectacle replaces patience, and controversy feeds an ongoing morality story about power, influence, and the cost of constant exposure. The involvement of law enforcement only magnifies the chaos. When official institutions intersect with celebrity culture, every silence feels deliberate. Every delay feels suspicious. Routine procedures are reimagined as proof that something massive is happening behind the scenes, even when no facts support that conclusion yet. Ultimately, this saga says just as much about the audience as it does about Jake Paul or Anthony Joshua. Fans are no longer just watching fights. They are watching stories. Once a fighter becomes a narrative instead of simply a competitor, every punch, trip, or plane ticket becomes part of a myth that refuses to slow down. From a human perspective, the Jake Paul situation feels less like a clear scandal and more like a reflection of how modern combat sports are consumed. Names like Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua no longer exist only as athletes. They exist as symbols. When those symbols collide, fans stop asking what is true and start asking what feels right to believe. Looking closely at Anthony Joshua's role explains why emotions run so high. He represents legitimacy earned through pain, losses, comebacks, and real danger. That history makes people instinctively protective of him and suspicious of anyone they believe entered the sport through fame rather than fire. Jake Paul, whether people accept it or not, has become a lightning rod for that resentment. His success forces uncomfortable questions about merit, access, and promotion. Instead of facing those questions directly, many fans choose the easier explanation: manipulation, scripts, or hidden deals, because those ideas protect their belief in how boxing is supposed to work. What gets lost in the noise is that more than one thing can be true at the same time. Jake Paul can be a calculated brand. Anthony Joshua can be a genuine warrior. The boxing business can be ruthless and cynical without crossing into outright conspiracy. But nuance struggles to survive online, especially when outrage spreads faster and rewards attention. Like video and subscribe Boxing World for updates.